Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the 3-episode season premiere of X-Men 97. So these 3 episodes were divided up by different parts of time. So the first episode being in the future, the second episode being in the present, aka 1997, and the last episode being in the past. So in the future we have Jean Grey, Cyclops, Wolverine, Morph, and Storm in the future. So, obviously, Cyclops and Jean Grey go towards Nate Summers, who is obviously their son, and they really want to get to know him. Or they thinking that what they're doing is going to make Nathan turn into Cable because he needs to be the warrior that he needs to be, and they think that that's what they need to do. So, Forge and Bishop realize what's going on, that for whatever the reason, the X-Men were divided up and sent to two different important points in Apocalypse's life. The X-Men to the future were to obviously stop Apocalypse from rising again, but also turning Cable into the warrior that he needs to be. And the thought process is the X-Men in the past were to stop him from ever rising to power to begin with. That being said, it did not go obviously as planned. So Forge went to the future, Bishop went into the past. So Forge gets to the future, finds everyone rather quickly. Wolverine, we see Wolverine kind of help him and Storm help Forge from getting attacked by Apocalypse's machines. Wolverine has bone claws now, so he can't easily destroy robots. So we see his bone claws break a lot, going up against metal, which I thought was very interesting and enjoyed seeing that. So anyway, the group gets out of there. Forge is like, we need to leave now before we mess up the time stream. There's this old woman there, who's called Mother something, I can't remember now. She's supposed to be Rachel Summers from an alternate timeline, because apparently in the Summers family you have to time travel, apparently. So the idea is Cyclops and Jean Grey want to spend more time with Nathan. So they then leave the camp. What happens then is Apocalypse sends an entire team and all of his horsemen after Nathan Summers, because the idea is he is the perfect vessel to have Apocalypse rise again. So they get captured along with Cyclops and Jean Grey. They have to tell they have to tell Nathan that they're his parents, which, didn't go nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, which I thought was interesting. So the idea is they were going to use one of the old ships that they had found, and they were going to power it up with Forge's technology knowledge, and the fact that Storm can manipulate the solar rays to increase the solar power of the ship exponentially. And at first she's very much like, no, this can't be true. I can't be able to do this. And the older lady was like, no, I saw it in my timeline. Like, you need to do this. So we see her utilize the rays of the sun, or solar flares, into the machine. It shoots up. They get over there. They shoot down. They get they stop the ship from. Whoa. They take over the ship and they still go in. And they release a bunch of prisoners, and Cable becomes Cable by sticking his hand into the machine and getting the AI that he's been using for this series. And that's when Cable uses his powers, his new powers, to send the X-Men back to 97. So Forge and the rest of the group are sent back to 1997, and that's where they are. In the present, so the second episode is where we have Cable creating a team to hunt down all aspects of Apocalypse. So he recruits. So obviously he already has on his team Psylocke, who is a telepath, and Archangel. Archangel, it was a former um, Horseman of Apocalypse. Sorry, I had to think for a second. So anyway, they're looking around and they recruit Jubilee and they recruit Sunspot. They then are trying to figure out what they're going to do next. While they're, I don't want to phrase this. While they're dealing with that, they find him in Brazil. They then hunt him down. They're able to capture him. And when, not Jean Grey, when Psylocke was trying to read his mind, there were diamonds blocking her access. So, they were going to. Well, what pissed Jubilee off the most was Cable killing, or Archangel killing the Horseman. Jubilee was like, we shouldn't have to have done that. We had another plan. Like, we could have done something else. And he's like, well, you obviously think you have another plan, so let's hear it. And she explains that the only person she knows of that is a telepath that is obsessed with diamonds because she's seen her turn into it was none other than Emma Frost. So they all go to Emma Frost's place and basically try to get information out of her. They get a location of where they were. They go to it, and Emma Frost is with them, and that's when the X Factor meets X Force, and the two teams fight. Now they go to escape. Jubilee gets captured. Sunspot wants to go after her. Cable is against it because they need to not die, or not get captured, I should say. So they split off. Jubilee gets captured. She has a lot of not nice words to say to Polaris, who is trying to convince her to basically turn a new leaf and help X Factor stop X Force. And Jubilee is like, no, you left the X-Men and decided to join X-Force. X-Force is no X-Factor, sorry. X-Factor is a government agency who is hunting down and capturing mutants. She goes, you're not the good guys here. Charles would be very disappointed in you. She goes, I'm not saying I'm doing great things here, meaning Jubilee saying this. But she's like, I know that I'm standing up for what's right because I'm trying to stop Apocalypse, while you guys are just trying to capture mutants. So apparently that hit a chord with Polaris because Polaris releases her, and she then provides a prison break, which she calls Cable to get her out of there because she needs support. So Cable goes over with the ship and everyone else. All of the kids are released, brought onto the ship, and X Factor fails in capturing any of them, including Jubilee, who was given the option to just give up and surrender. And Jubilee's like, no way in heck, jumps off, and Sunspot grabs her and brings her back to the ship. So the idea is, the plan now is like, what do they do now? Because they have all these kids, like they can't just go hunting for Apocalypse with them in it. And Cable's just kind of like, well, kids are resilient, thinking about back into his time. So then it goes to the X-Men that returned from the future in the X-Mansion, who are kind of concerned because the other team never made it. So the other half of the X-Men from the past never showed back up when they were supposed to. So now there's a concern, especially with the fact that their time bracelets are no longer showing any power. So the third episode, we go into the past, and we see that Magneto is trying to convince a young Apocalypse to act in the way that Charles Xavier would want. Now, what's really funny here is Charles did not know what Um, so Professor X did not know what Magneto was doing. So when he finds out, he's like, you can't be doing this. Like, you can't be putting the trust of this to Apocalypse. He is the most dangerous and powerful enemy the X-Men have ever faced. And he's like, yeah, I know. And that's why I thought it would be a good idea to have him be on our side. Trying to produce um your goal, your vision into reality thousands of years before we ever even existed. So it's looking like it's being sort of successful. We then find out that Apocalypse, the young Apocalypse, is dealing with a threat called Ramatot, who is a variant of King the Conqueror. So we see all the technology and everything else being used to want to remove this threat. Because to them, Apocalypse is a slave, but also a, how did they phrase it? A broken slave? Because or not a broken slave, a disfigured. So anyway, they go in, they capture the lieutenant, they get all of the technology that was in that area, they bring it back. The X-Men are trying to use it to create a time machine to get back to the present. However, Magneto is trying to convince Apocalypse not to kill the lieutenant. However, the entire Apocalypse's army finds out that the X-Men are using the technology from the Emperor, from the King, King Ramatut's technology. They now think that they're the enemy and decide to attack the X-Men. Bishop was there for a while, comes out of hiding, starts blasting people away. They're getting ready to teleport out of there back to the present when Ramatut finds out, because of the death of his lieutenant, gets the location of exactly where they are, shoots his tech right at them and causes a massive explosion. That's where all of the all of the time bracelets disappear, like their energy source. So it's very curious to see what happens there, because the X-Men are stuck in the past because they're unable to go back, at least at this moment in time. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next. We also know that there's something coming that's going to make King Ramatut the strongest he's ever been. However, we obviously, I'm assuming we already know this, but it's the ship that actually turns Apocalypse into Apocalypse. We'll have to wait and see to know for sure, because the next episode is part 2. We have to wait a whole week for the next episode, so it ends on a cliffhanger where we obviously know that they're not coming back from the past yet, and we have to wait to see what happens next. Overall, thought these episodes were incredible. I liked how it was divided into the future, present, and past. Very much enjoyed that. Also like the idea that it's all centered around Apocalypse to remove him from existence, which I also do like as well. Mostly due to the fact that I think it's a cool concept, because Apocalypse is is the toughest villain that the X-Men have had to deal with. So it would be very interesting to kind of see how that's going to play out. We've also seen various different Horsemen of Apocalypse, so I'm very curious to see how many more we're going to see. But obviously we're going to have to wait and see for the future. But let me know what you guys thought about these 3 episodes down in the comments below. Did you like them? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.